Hi, I'm Marissa Samuelson, a member of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. The video you are about to see is sponsored by the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe's Public Health Department. The Gego-Zaagaswaaken program is designed to help you quit smoking and understand the effects of smoking and secondhand smoke. During this film, you will see other Mille Lacs Band members state their experiences and struggles in dealing with the consequences of smoking.
My name is Marlene and I'm a Mille Lacs Band elder. I just wanted to share with you a little about my story of how I quit smoking and talk a little bit about the tobacco project here at the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe. I quit smoking because of my grandson's James's asthma. I didn't know a whole lot about asthma, so I talked to medical professionals. I read some literature and I learned that secondhand smoke was a trigger for his asthma. So I quit smoking, and the rule that we had in the house was no smoking in the house and in the car, which everybody followed. The only thing is, when I went to the casino, I would start smoking. And I would go home and James would still have his asthma triggers, and I thought, well, what's going on here? So, and then it dawned on me, well, I'm smoking at the casino and I'm carrying the smoke, secondhand smoke home in my hair and on my clothes. So then I quit smoking at the casino. So I quit completely. And I never used any patches or pills or Chantix or anything. And I just quit. I learned a lot about tobacco issues, about secondhand smoke. And then when a grant came up, funding notice came up for the tribal education and education project, I applied. I and another grant writer spent some time and applied for the grant, and we did get funded, which is now the Secondhand Smoke Project in its second year of funding. And I've learned a lot about tobacco issues, how secondhand smoke affects not only children, but adults and elders, the carcinogens that are present in tobacco, and as a result of the tobacco, the secondhand smoke too.
Smoking accounts for an estimated of 443,000 deaths each year in the U.S. That's nearly 1 of every 5 deaths.
Anine, my name is Chris Kaig, and I'm a Mille Lacs Band member. My Ojibwe name is Omadwe. And as an ex-smoker of 7 months and 17 days, the reason I quit smoking was because my heart stopped. And it was due to stress and smoking. My doctor advised me to quit, and since I quit, my health has changed for the better. And I'm aware of the effects and danger of secondhand smoke and what it can do to children and everyone who comes in contact with it. Secondhand smoke is a hazard, is a very bad habit. Bad things could happen to them like it did to me. My heart stopped, and it was very scary. It was one of the scariest things that ever happened to me.
Just 24 hours after your last cigarette, you substantially lessen your chances of having a heart attack.
Joy Dorsher, family practice physician, East Lake Clinic, and I'm here to talk to you today about secondhand smoke. During the time that I grew up, secondhand smoke was everywhere, and we didn't know that it could cause problems for our health. We know now that it can. For any person who smokes a cigarette, they get approximately half of the smoke from the cigarette, and they also get about half of the carcinogens or the cancer-causing agents, and half of the toxins or the poisons. The rest of them end up in the air, breathed by those who may not be smoking at all. And the ones that I think of most often are our children. If one smokes a cigarette in the house, those toxins, carcinogens, and cigarette smoke can end up in the upholstery of the furniture and can still negatively affect the health of the child. I think often of the most loving thing that we can do for our children in giving them a big hug, and yet if we have the smell of cigarettes with those toxins and the smoke and the carcinogens, we are increasing the risk for our children with the exposure there. And so if one is going to smoke, they should go outside and smoke if they're going to smoke at all. And again, I'm talking about commercial tobacco, because that's where all of these toxins and carcinogens can be found. This risk of secondhand smoke can be found in increased cardiac disease, increased risk of lung cancer. People who have never smoked a cigarette can end up with lung cancer, and an increased risk of sudden infant death syndrome in children who grow up in a home where there is a great deal of secondhand smoke. So we know that secondhand smoke has deleterious effects for our health, and it's one of the things that we can address in order to prevent some of those negative health effects. Thank you.
The most important aspect of general overall health is circulation. Circulation is determined by two functions. Number one, the heart's ability to pump blood to the body, and number two, the veins and vessels' ability to carry that blood to the body. Primary to this is the lung-heart relationship. The lung's ability to produce oxygen and deliver it to the heart. Smoking decreases the lung's ability to produce oxygen. Immediately, the heart's ability to deliver oxygen is minimized. General health is lessened. Smoking kills lung cells. As an example of this, Keith Modulin, a band member here with Mille Lacs, came to me about 2 years ago, said he wanted to get in health. At the time, Keith was smoking and was quite a bit overweight, and we started to work together. And today, I believe Keith is a transformed person.
My name is Keith Modulin. I'm a Mille Lacs band member from Lake Lena. I smoked for 18 years. I started smoking at 14 years old, and as I was getting older, I would notice that I couldn't walk upstairs without running out of breath. I couldn't walk down the block without running out of breath. So finally, I wised up, and at 32 years old, I came into the fitness center in the Mille Lacs Reservation Community Center and decided I wanted to work out. The fitness coordinator there, Jim Engel, he worked me hard that first day, and I don't know if I was smart or if I was stupid, but I came back after the soreness wore off, and eventually I kept coming back, and I noticed myself getting in better shape, but I was still smoking while I was doing this. And at this time, I lost about 20 pounds while I was still smoking. And the more I would work out, the less I would smoke, until finally I just got sick of smoking altogether and I quit. After I quit, I put the 20 pounds back on, and then another 10 on top of that. But I kept working out. I wasn't discouraged. I eventually took that 30 pounds off, and then another 40 on top of that. So now I work out every day. It seems that I replaced one habit for another. I could not imagine myself smoking again. I'm doing things at 34 years old today that I could not do in my 20s or in my teens. It's the best decision I made in my life. I would smoke in front of my kids in my house. The smell would not only be on me, but because we're in my house, the smell would get on my children as well. And other kids in the neighborhood would smell the smoke on them and tell them they stunk. And I mean, it can't be healthy for your children to be inhaling that smoke as well.
Just 30 minutes of exposure to secondhand smoke can cause heart damages similar to that of a habitual smoker. Regular exposure to secondhand smoke, like in your house, heightens the chance of a stroke by 50%. Scientific evidence shows that there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke.
Anin, my name is Bagwa Anini. which means Bigfoot. I'm a Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe elder, and that was my Indian name. My American name is Ron Anderson. I'm retired military of 21 years with the U.S. Army Aviation. I'm married with 2 children and 2 grandchildren. I started smoking 21 years ago as a habit with the military. Is that when you get in the upper ranks, drinking coffee and smoking was always the norm. And once you picked it up, it was almost impossible to break the habit when you always around them. And regardless of whether or not you're in the United States serving or you're overseas, you can't get away from it. Everybody smokes. The old saying was, if you got them, smoke them. But that was a bad saying. I also love to fish, and I love to play golf, which means if anybody has played those sports before, you know that you have slack time because it is a relaxing event or a relaxing sport. So you have a tendency of wanting to smoke, especially when you're out on a fishing boat waiting for the big one to hit. My normal routine is after work I always go home, the wife fixes me a fantastic dinner, and I always, without fail, I go outside, sit on the tractor, do some chores or feed the animals, and I always seem to have to fire up a cigarette. What a bad routine that is. I have tried to quit smoking 3 different times, and the longest period that I've had that I can remember is 6 months. So it can be done, it's just you need a lot of support from your family and friends. I'd like to share a story with you that was passed on to me by a friend years ago that I still remember, and I think it's helping me to stay on track. Is that I want you to think of me as I'm actually quite wealthy. And because I'm wealthy, I'm willing to buy you any vehicle you want. Brand spanking new. It can be a Mercedes-Benz, a Cadillac, a Rolls-Royce even, or a Hummer. Now, the catch to this is that once you have this new vehicle, it'll be the only vehicle you'll have for the rest of your life. I mean, that's it, period, until you die. Now, how are you going to take care of that vehicle? Will you go out and purchase the cheapest oil, or go to the gas pumps and buy the cheapest gas there is available, or spend a couple bucks on cheapest rotors or brakes? Now, look at it from your standpoint of your body. This is your body, and it's the only one you're going to have for the rest of your life. How are you going to treat it? Will you continue to smoke? That's a very difficult question, but you need to break it. That's all I have right now. Miigwech.
1 year after quitting, your risk of coronary heart disease is half that of a smoker.
Allez, bonjour, le Shinabe. Today I want to talk to you about some concerns that I have regarding some health problems within our reservation. One of the most important things that I feel nowadays is that I see a lot of our young people are having health problems because of smoking or being secondhand smoke or third-hand smoke from industrial tobacco. This tobacco has hurt our people a lot and has hurt a lot of other people, this Anishinaabe people. But I think we need to look and address that and try to correct that for our children. Our children are brought here to see me because they have asthma and some other problems within their lungs. And we try to correct that so that they will have a good life, but we also need to get some education to their parents, those community members that do ceremonies, that use a lot of smoke in their ceremonies, that we should not be using that because our children are the ones that are being hurt. Myself, I do not use tobacco. I have not used tobacco within the last 8 years, and I will not use that. What I use is I use our traditional tobacco, the Kinnikinnick. This works very good for our children because our children will grow up and they'll have what they call the COPD is what I have. It's a disease that's in the lungs that can never be corrected. And if we can work together and to help our children to grow up and to have good lungs, then I think we did a good thing for our children.
I'm Bernadette Smith, Mille Lacs Band elder. I smoke because I'm addicted. I started at age 13 to be cool and fit in. A pack lasted me a month. I didn't inhale until age 16 when I entered the St. Cloud Children's Home. The girls sat me down and taught me to inhale. Back then, a pack lasted me a month. At age 16, I entered the St. Cloud Children's Home, and the girls sat me down and taught me to inhale. I got sick, coughing, gagging, dizzy, but I learned to inhale, blow smoke rings. I was cool. 43 years later, I'm still addicted. Now, it's not so cool. I stink. My clothes, hair, house, all reek of cigarette smoke. I have quit 1,000 times. The addiction is too strong. I've tried inhalers, Chantix, and cold turkey. When I'm out gambling, I have to smoke. I've tried inhalers, Chantix, cold turkey. When I'm out gambling, I have to smoke. Bingo is the same. When I'm lonely or feeling sad, I have to have a cigarette. It's always there for me, isn't it? I have to smoke when I go to bingo.
And I sat next to her, and it stinks.
But they have non-smoking.
But then she sits in the smoking part, and we're her friends.
The non-smoking is just across the aisle. Like it really helps.
It's on the wrong side of the casino, because everybody's getting a secondhand smoke because it's going from one side to the other out the door. And I usually don't sit by her. I let her go sit by herself because I can't stand the smell of smoke. And when she comes to visit me, I used to take her coat and hang it outside the door.
She did. You stink, she'd tell me. Oh God, you just stink.
But I do have a breathing problem, and I did smoke for up until 1962 myself, and then I quit cold turkey. And it was hard to quit cold turkey because my husband still smoked, and the people around me still smoked. So
When I gamble, I waste cigarettes too, because I've got one going in my hand. I probably have 2 or 3 going in the ashtray because I'm so involved. And at the prices of cigarettes today, it's kind of ridiculous.
I was 4 years old when I started using tobacco, and now I will speak to anyone. Don't even start the chewing tobacco. Don't start the smoking, because I know what it did to my health. I have breathing problems. I have to have all kinds of medicine to do it. So if you don't smoke, don't start. It's not really as cool as we think it is when we're young. After we get older, we realize it isn't, but it takes many years. As an elder, I give everybody advice: don't smoke any way, any shape, any form. We can use tobacco for our sema, for our religious activities, but they are getting to that. They use the natural now, which is much better.
Smoking is not cool, just don't start.
Hi, my name is Larissa, and I'm a Mille Lacs band member. I started smoking when I was about 12 years old, just to be cool like all the other kids around my age or older. After I started smoking, I realized I wasn't able to do all the things I used to. Like go outside and play with all the other kids, or just run around and have fun, just because I was just short of breath from all the smoking. And then after a while, the other kids stopped playing with me because I hardly did anything with them, and I just smelled like cigarettes all the time, and I just wanted to smoke a cigarette when they wanted to go run around and play. And after a while, I realized it wasn't really that much fun. I started to smell like cigarettes, like the smoke that lingers on your clothes, your hair, your hands, and plus on your breath too, and that's like the worst part. For after a couple of years or so, I wanted to quit smoking, so I tossed out my cigarettes for about a week, and something came up and just got stressed all over again and started smoking cigarettes. It was just cigarette after cigarette each day, and I realized it was like really hurting my body because I was hardly able to breathe, and like only friends I had just smoked cigarettes, and it was really no fun because all we did was just sit around, talk, smoke cigarettes, and it's just pretty much a waste of money. You're just smoking your money away, and they're just getting expensive too, so. I was having trouble quitting, so I went to the Mille Lacs Band program. I was given information about the different ways to quit and how to stay smoke-free. I'm tired of the addiction. Quitting is more difficult than I thought. I shouldn't be tied down like I am. The program is helping me be in control.
90% of people start smoking before the age of 18, usually around 15 years old. Children are twice as likely to smoke if their parents smoke.
Hi, I'm Don Eubanks, Commissioner of Health and Human Services for the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe Indians. I'm here to support the ongoing efforts of the community health educator and our outreach coordinator for the secondhand smoke project that we've named Gego-Zaagaswaaken, which means don't smoke. The purpose of the project is to educate our band members and leaders about the adverse effects of commercial tobacco and secondhand smoke. I can attest to the addiction of cigarettes as I am a current smoker, and although I have 20 years of sobriety, stopping the addiction of tobacco is extremely hard, and so I encourage all our band members who don't smoke not to. Our program strives to provide high quality health and social programs to everyone in our community.
Hello, I'm Roberta Lyme. I work for the Mille Lacs Band Public Health Department. I am a tobacco treatment educator, and we would like you to know about the services we provide for our communities. We can help you to get ready to quit smoking. We'll discuss what we can do at home and the best ways to handle withdrawal symptoms and ways to avoid smoking. We'll help you with all the support we have available for you. Our goal is to help people quit smoking. Remember, it takes a lot of willpower to quit smoking. But when push comes to shove, we can do it, and no matter how many times we try, we get stronger and stronger, and we'll succeed. I'll visit you at home, or you can call me at my office and we'll plan a visit.
My name is Gloria Sangate. I am an ex-smoker. I am the outreach coordinator for the Mille Lacs Band Public Health Secondhand Smoke Project. We have made this DVD to hopefully educate all Mille Lacs Band members about the health risk of commercial tobacco and the effects and dangers of breathing in secondhand smoke. Everyone is affected by secondhand smoke. Our tribal and casino workers, our children, teens, adults, and elders, and yes, even our pets. You hear of many businesses throughout the world that have gone smoke-free. I think it's time that the Mille Lacs Band becomes a smoke-free community. If you need help, you can call us at our office at the Public Health Building. Roberta and I will be glad to help you. If you want to be smoke-free, come and see Roberta and I.
Let's all go smoke-free.
Well, I guess what I would tell people if I were talking to people about smoking, I would encourage them to read up and learn about the chemicals that are present in tobacco, and as a result of the chemicals that are present in the secondhand smoke, the carcinogens, and how harmful they are not only to the person that's using but to other people around them. When I started smoking, I won't say how long ago that was, but I know that the nicotine was not as high as it is in tobacco as it is today. It's a lot. The composition has changed over the years. The flavoring is more enhanced. It probably tastes a whole lot different. It's more addicting. And there's a lot more nicotine in cigarettes today than there were, say, maybe 30 years ago, which is not something that people are aware of unless they keep informed on marketing strategies and on the campaign literature.
If you are currently smoking, please quit. If you have not started to smoke, don't.
If you don't smoke now, don't start. Peer pressure shouldn't be an issue. Everybody has their own opinion, so just because you're not sitting there with the rest of them smoking on a butt or a cigarette, is no big deal. But if you do smoke, you really need to get some help, whether or not it's the patch, the gum, or just a support program, your family and friends. Let them know that you've quit smoking and they'll be more than supportive for you. But if you don't do something, your health is just going to go to the kapoots, is the way my dad always said. Miigwech.
I would say that smoking cigarettes is probably one of the stupidest decisions you can make in your life. It is a totally worthless habit that doesn't do anything for you besides hamper your performance in doing anything, you know, basically running, anything, walking.
So you've heard the testimonies from our fellow Mille Lacs band members about their experiences and struggles with tobacco and secondhand smoke. The statistics are astonishing and scary. Too many people are dying or becoming ill from the harms of smoking, and those that don't smoke being exposed to the dangers of secondhand smoke. To all my fellow Anishinaabe, if you haven't started smoking, please don't. If you have, please quit or try to quit. To contact the Gego-Zaagaswaaken program, call the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe's Public Health Department Outreach Coordinator, Gloria Sangate, or Roberta Ladd, the Community Health Educator. Miigwech.